Two men meet the same woman. One asks her the most common question in "So, what do you do?" She smiles, politely answers, and forgets him. But second man asks something else. Just don't sentence, and suddenly she pauses. Her breath shifts. Her body language. You can feel the atmosphere in the room bend. That's the difference. Most questions simply collect data. But, the right question creates addiction. In this video, I'm going to show you how to engineer questions with gravity. Questions that feel like a mirror, not an interview. Questions that don't just touch her mind, but pull her into an experience with you. By the end, you won't just know what to ask. You'll know how to ask in a way that leaves her remembering your presence, not just your words. So, let's break this down into two parts. 1. First, I'll give you the rules of asking the right kind of question. 2. Then I'll hand you 3 advanced techniques that turn an ordinary conversation into an emotional bond she can't forget. Stay with me because on SEO, learn this. You'll never look at conversations the same way again. Rule 1. Don't interview her. We've all seen it. Guy meets girl. Instantly slips into job interview mode. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? What are your hobbies? It sounds polite. It sounds normal. But there's the problem. She has answered those questions 1,000 times this week. Her brain is on autopilot. She doesn't even have to think to reply. And autopilot is the enemy of attraction. Here's why. The feminine brain doesn't crave what is predictable. It craves the unexpected. Think of it like this. The brain is a survival machine. Its job is to recognize patterns. When things are predictable, the brain relaxes, saves. Great for survival. Terrible for because in attraction, comfort equals boredom. That's why disrupting her routine feels like magic. It pulls her into the moment, yanks her out of autopilot, and suddenly you're, for example, instead of asking so, what do you do? Try, what's something about you I wouldn't text, but I definitely remember. Boom, she can't autopilot answer. She freezes. She thinks. She feels. Her emotional brain wakes up. She smiles because she feels seen. And here's the secret. Whoever creates the most emotional tension owns the frame. You're not here to gather data. You're here to shift her emotional landscape. If she feels like she's not in just another conversation, but in a scene from a movie, you've already won. She'll think about you long after you're gone. And she won't even understand why. That's why the best questions aren't really questions at all. They're emotional portals. Let me give you an example. You seem calm, but I bet you were a little reckless in the past. Am I wrong? Now, she's not giving you surface level. She's either proving you wrong or confessing secrets. Either way, you've opened the door. Rule 2. Ask what she doesn't even know she wants to say. Every one of us carries pieces of ourselves that we've never really spoken out loud. Hidden corners, whisper F's, feelings that exist in the background but never quite find words. And here's the truth. When Sumi finally touches that hidden place, it feels electric. It feels like that's what you want to do with her. Most guys stay surface level. So, what do you do? What's your favorite food? But when you ask the question she never knew she wanted to answer, you heat a nerve. You wake something up. Trithis, do you ever feel like other people really get you? Notice what happens. She can't just brush it off. She pauses. She searches herself. She feels. And the moment she uncovers that hidden layer, she links it to you. You become the person who gave her the space to step into herself. Here's the psychology most people never learn. The person who gives you room to be your quiet self, your unguarded, raw self. Why? Because they did just make you feel good. They made you feel more you. That's your goal. Not to impress her, not to dazzle her with, but to entice her out of the character she shows the world and invite her back into her real self. Imagine this. What's something you loved doing as a kid that you've stopped doing? When do you feel most like yourself? Or even, wait, you said that quickly. Say it slower. That last one is brutal in the best way. Because when you make her repeat herself slowly, she doesn't just hear herself again. She feels herself. And here's a secret about memory. We forget facts all the time, but we never forget how we felt saying them. So, when you guide her back into an emotional memory, she'll think you're a deep. Even if you said almost nothing at all, think of it like this. You're not just throwing questions into the air, hoping she bites. You're lighting a match over a puddle of gasoline, her interior life. If you can get her intrigued about herself while she's with you, you don't just become interesting, you become unforgettable. That's the difference between another guy she'd act to and the guy she can't get out off her head. Rule 3. Inject emotion, not just logic. Most of us, especially men, are trained from childhood to value logic. School words the clean answer. the right structure, the polished response. Say the right thing, get the gold star. But the problem. Attraction doesn't tran on logic. It runs on emotion. What she feels with you will always outweigh what she knows about you. You could offer flawless logic, a perfect resume, even brilliant stories, and still be forgettable. Why? Because if her pulse never shifted, if she never felt something around you, her brain won't imprint you. And that is the death of attraction. Let me give you a simple way to remember things. Logic enters the intellect, emotion enters the spirit. Logic explains what happened. Emotion dictates what it means. Let me show you with a boring question that almost every guy asks. So, what do you do? It's predictable, energy neutral. It doesn't move her. Now, flip it. Do you actually like what you do, or is it just paying for the parts of your life you see the difference? That question forces her to check in with herself. It drags her out of recall and that shift, that moment, off self-searching, is where attraction is. Go beyond resume fishing. Don't fish in her resume. Tap her voltage. Ask. If it weren't for applause and validation, what would you be doing right now? Or what risk have you been postponing? Because deep down you know, it's the one that matters. Or even what did 14-year-old you think life would look like right now, and which parts of that kid are the show when she halts, when her eyes move sideways, when she goes silent. Bear. She answers, that's the threshold, that's her emotional brain taking over. And when she answers, don't just nod politely, don't respond with data. Respond with images. Speak in pictures, not spreadsheets. Let's say she tells you she's from a small town. Most guys say, oh, nice, forgettable. But you paint it. Small towns feel like midnight kitchens. The silence is so deep, you can hear the hum of the fridge. Did you learn to love that silence? Or did you spend your nights fighting it? Now she's not trading information, she's trading feeling. And that's what human beings resonate with. Not bullet points, not stats, textures of experience. Your tone becomes her weather. Speak in pictures and she won't just hear your words, she'll feel them. The nervous system. Before the thesis. Here's the final truth of Rule 3. The nervous system comes before thesis. You can give her the smartest explanation in the world and she nod. But if you give her a feeling she died expect, she'll replay that moment at 2 a.m. in the dark. Because people didn't cling to facts, they cling to. So stop chasing clever lines. Stop trying to be impressive. Instead, make her feel something she's never had words for. And that's when she'll remember your name effortlessly. Technique 1. Use implied premises that frame you as the one who gets it. Listen carefully, because this technique alone can change the entire way women respond to. Most guys approach women like they are students waiting for approval. They ask questions that sound like oh wow, you're into crystals. That's interesting. Tell me more. On the surface, it looks polite, but underneath it screams insecurity. It signals, I didn't get your world, but I'll pretend I'm curious so maybe you'll like me. That is weak. That is external. And women feel it instantly. But here's how you flip the frame completely. Instead of proving you're interested, speak as if you already understand. Don't sound like a man trying to qualify himself. Sound like a man who's seen the movie before. Here's the shift. When you act like you understand her better than she understands herself, she won't resist you. She actually fight Toprov, you right. Example. Instead of asking, so, are you more of an introvert or an extrovert? Say this. You seem like one of those people, one needs people, but only in very like too much social energy drains you, even though no one ever notices that about you. Now, stop. Watch her blink. Watch her freeze. You didn't ask permission. You didn't beg her to explain herself. You confidently asked it a hidden truth about her. And here's the psychology. People crave recognition more than attention. Validation makes her feel good. Recognition makes her feel seen. And most women go through life starving for that feeling. Why this works? When you drop an implied truth about someone, when you describe their inner world instead of begging them to describe it for you, you bypass the logical brain and speak straight to the subconscious. She feels exposed but safe, seen but not judged, and once she feels understood, trust forms instantly. Now she's not just answering your questions, she's chasing your perspective. She's leaning in, trying to figure out how you see her. And her crazy part, you don't need to convince her of anything. All you did was assume authority over her story and let her step into your version of herself. Remember this rule, don't describe her, because when you describe her in a way that no one else dares to, you become unforgettable. The secret isn't in saying something witty, it's in dropping confident servants that make her whisper to herself, damn, he gets me. And when a woman feels you get it, she won't be able to shake the feeling even when you're gone. Technique 2. Create micro loops that pull investment. This one is powerful. So powerful it feels almost unfair, because once you learn it, you'll realize why some people can't stop thinking about you even when you've said very little. Here's the human brain is wired to close loops. That's why cliffers work in TV shows. That's why we can't stop scrolling on social media. That's why we keep thinking about someone who never finished their sentence. Unfinished stories leave a mental icon. The brain needs to scratch it. How to use this in conversation. Most guys give too much or ask too much. They either flood her with information or interrogate her like a survey, and both kill tension. But when you create a loop, something open, some attention comple, she invests. And the moment she invests, she hooks herself. Because here's a rule most people never realize. People don't invest because they like it. They like you because they've invested. Here's the first example. Instead of a boring question like, so tell me about yourself, say, wait, you strike me as the type who acts chill but secretly overanalyzes everything before even answer. Am I wrong? Now, pause. She can't leave it there. She has to clarify, to explain, to defend. Either way, she's investing. Another example is this. Or try this. There's something you're not telling Myatt. I can feel it. You're holding back fun part. Then shut up. That silence, that pause, that tinium balance. It dares her to step into thega. And she will because her brain craves the dopamine hit of closing the loop. Why this works? When you give a samine a cracked mirror of themselves, they can't look away. They need to fix it, to explain it, to rebuild it. And in doing so, they're not just filling they're emotionally investing in you. That's why microloops are like invisible fishing lines. You toss own out, she bites without realizing, and suddenly, she's pulling herself closer, thinking it was her idea all along. And the wild part, she walk away zang. I don't know why, but I really like talking to him. Don't close the loop too quickly. Don't give her the full picture. Drop half, play with speak in curiosity-laced fragments because the less you force, the more she leans in. Technique 3. Make it feel like a shared movie, not an interview. Here's one of the most powerful truths in psychology. People don't fall for Geo because of your resume. They fall because of how they feel in your story. If your conversations feel like checklists, what do? Where are you from? What are your hobbies? She'll switch off. But if your conversations feel like scenes, like she just stepped into a secret world with you, she'll get hooked. Why shared imagination works. When two people imagine something together, the brain codes it as a shared reality. It feels like something actually happened, even if it was just talk. That's why daydreaming together is so powerful. It creates what I call false nostalgia. Later, she won't just remember talking to you, she feel like she misses you. Let me give you an example. Instead of, what do you do for fun? Say, okay, imagine this. If we were in a movie Addictive and you suddenly disappeared fall way through, what weird twist would audience discover about your secret life? Now, she's not reciting facts. She's playing. She's co-authoring amament with you. And because she's imagining it with you, she starts to feel like you've already lived something together. The psychology behind it. Shared imagination equals shared bond. If she feels like you're already part of her story, she'll start fighting to keep you. That's why it's so magnetic. You're not just talking, you're building a world where you both exist. How to do this? Right. Paint little word scenes. Add color. Add tension. Add mystery. Don't make her feel like a contestant in an interview. Make her feel like the co-star in a. When it feels like a movie, she won't want it to end. She want a. And that sequel is seeing you again. Most men chase lines, smart comebacks, clever routines. But the real power isn't in being clever. It's in creating an experience. Because when she feels some mething around you that she can't put into words, that's when you stop buying forgettable and start becoming fun for Jettle. That's technique 3. Shared move. Now you've got the 3 we. 1. Implied premises. Frame yourself as the one who already gets it. 2. Microloops. Create addictive tension that makes her invest. 3. Shared movie questions. Turn conversations into scenes she never. If you master these, you won't just attract women. You'll make them feel addicted to your presence. So, let's pull this together. Attraction doesn't live in facts. It doesn't live in logic. It lives in the emotional shifts you create. Most guys collect but the unforgettable ones, they create experiences. When you master this, you're not just talking to her, you're moving her. You're pulling her into a story where she feels most alive, most herself. And here's the twist. Shuit remember you because she remember you because for a moment you gave her a mirror she didn't know she needed. That's the power of dark psychology in conversation. Not manipulation. Not tricks. But third of bending time so a single moment feels unforgettable. Rule 1. Don't interview her. Disrupt the autopilot. Rule 2. Ask what she doesn't know, Shuins to say. Touch the unspoken parts off her. Rule 3. Inject emotion, not speak in pictures, not. And then the techniques. 1. Implied premises. Speak as if you already get her, and she'll fight Topro view right. 2. Micro loops. Open loops that make her invest without realizing it. 3. Shared movie questions. Turn a simple talk into a scene she never want to forget. Here's what I want, Uto remember. It's not about asking questions to learn about her. It's about asking questions that make her feel herself more deeply around you. Because when she feels that, when she feels both exposed and safe, challenged and seen, she won't just like you. She feel addicted to the experience of being with you. That's what makes you unforgettable. This is just the beginning. If you want to go deeper, if you want to master the hidden levers of attraction, communication, and influence, subscribe to this channel, Dark Psychology. I'm Amelia, and every week I show youth secrets that most people never see. The patterns, the hooks, the shadow stat shape, human behavior. So stay tuned because the next video is going to tackle even further down the rabbit hole. Until then, remember this. Don't just collect answers, create experiences, because in the end, people never forget ones who made them feel. Music.